Good morning, podcast listeners. This is Ed Franklin with the Ed Franklin No Limits podcast. Um, Thank you for joining me. Thank you for looking at my clips. My clips are way up right now. I'd like to get more views of the actual entire podcast, which I'm working on YouTube with that. But I appreciate you joining me today. And I'm going to talk about a subject that I've talked about before. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I want to bring this up because I think it's important for you, and I want to contribute to you, and I want to help you out as much as I can. And it's just something that I'm observing lately. And so let's get going. So you can always get a hold of me at edfranklin.nolimits@gmail.com, or you can go to my website at www.edfranklinnolimits.com. And or you can hit me up on any of my social media platforms. I'm all over the place on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere you can think of. I'm pretty much out there, and you can listen to this on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, all those different places. Anywhere you're listening to your podcast, you can find me on there. So again, thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about dreams today, right? So I am 100% convinced that every one of you has in the past, or is currently, or in the future wants to do something different, or you have some aspiration to be bigger than what you are now. And you can tell me you don't, but you do. Um, since we were little kids, we'd always dream about being, superheroes or rock stars or police officers or firemen or any of these things. And unfortunately, as we go through life and life starts to happen, we start to forget about those dreams or think that we can't do them. And I just don't think that's the case. I had a long conversation with somebody yesterday about discipline and about things they want to do, and he kind of didn't know where to start. And I thought, really where to start is just to do something small. So I'm just decided to do something 2 weeks ago that I'll tell you more about in about 4 weeks when I'm done with the whole journey. And it's really been life changing. It's changed a lot of things in my life, health wise. It's changed a lot of just discipline things that I'm doing, things that I know I need to do. And you need to do that too. Listen, your biggest enemy is you. When you start to think of these dreams or aspirations about getting in shape or quitting smoking or quitting drinking or, starting your own business or doing something bigger that you think you desire, you're the one usually that tells you can't do it. There are other people in our life too that through an act of love, they want us not to get hurt or fail or things like that. And what it's doing is killing your dream. And you don't want to do that. You want to listen, I've just turned 64 last month. I am not done with my life, and I want to continue to grind and read and do all these different things. Speaking of reading, I'm on my fifth book in the last 2 months, just trying to get more knowledge about different things that I want to do, that I aspire to do. And I think I know that you need to do things like that too. One of the problems we have is the people we're surrounding ourselves with, right? We need to be in circles there where people are encouraging us to do things. I have tried to start different groups with people out there in my LinkedIn world or wherever to discuss these things, to encourage each other, to not be dream killers, to be dream enthusiasts, to encourage people to do things. And oddly enough, I cannot get people to join a group like that, whether they think I'm trying to sell something, which I'm not. All I'm trying to do is encourage them to be better versions of themselves. And, when I started this podcast, it was kind of about wrapping my arms around people. And I know a lot of the stuff that I'm saying right now, you've heard before on my podcast. Hopefully this one resonates more with you and you start chasing those dreams that you're after. But you got to be around people that are going to encourage you and help you achieve those goals. Think about this. If you're hanging out with 5 millionaires, you can be the sixth one, right? If you're hanging out with 5 drug addicts, you could be the sixth one. So depending on who you're hanging out with, who you're having these discussions with, it's a big deal. And I've said this before. If you tell me what you're reading and who you're hanging out with, I'll tell you where you'll be in 2 years. And I don't care if you're watching this podcast and you're 19 years old or you're watching this podcast and you're 70 years old. you probably have something in the back of your mind that you've desired to do in your life, and you're not taking action on it. And I'm here to tell you, you need to take action on it. We're not we're here for a reason, right? We're born for a reason. 1 in 400 trillion chance that we're even born, and we have a calling. And I know a lot of you out there would like to do something, and it doesn't have to be about money related. It doesn't have to be about you quitting your job. You can do your job and do this thing that you've wanted to do. And I'm telling you, you can do it for nothing, for free, and or very minimal cost if you want to, do something that's going to blow up your life and you're going to feel really happy about, and you're going to feel like you're contributing to. Another one of those killers, besides the people you're hanging out with and your own mind, is Netflix. What are you doing with your time? Let's talk about Netflix or YouTube or Hulu or Peacock or whatever you're talking about, and talk about binge watching shows and wasting time with TV. Now, I could have just insulted you saying that, but the reality is you watching a show, 2 hours a night for every night of the week, or watching TV 2 hours a night. Think about if you put that into whatever your aspiration is, whatever your dream is. Some of you want to take care of animals. Some of you want to spend time with seniors. Some of you want to, do a podcast, which I've been doing for the last 6 years. And the way it started out was horrible. I mean, the first couple podcasts I've gone back and looked at, and they weren't good at all. You may think this one's not good, but I can tell you that they get better all the time. My video editing skills get better. All these things that I'm learning, talking about AI, learning about AI, all these things. So I'm not here to tell you that you're failing. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to fail. If you feel like you're failing, have some discipline and do something. And I'm talking about maybe spending 5 minutes a day or maybe 10 minutes a day reading something that's going to make you a better person, or it's going to teach you something that you don't know. I've said before, everybody you meet, you can learn something from. Doesn't matter if they're homeless, undereducated, overeducated, rich, poor, doesn't matter. They know something you don't know. And I think I'm encouraging you to get out there and, meet with people and talk to them. And if you're afraid to tell them about your goals or your dreams, um, it's because you feel like they're not going to give you good, positive feedback. My mother wanted me to work for the post office. She thought that would be the greatest thing for me because of the retirement, and it's steady work and it's all that, and it's always going to be around. And listen, I appreciated her caring enough to try to encourage me to do something that was steady. And I mean, I'm kind of paying for that retirement thing now, not getting with one of those companies. But the gentleman I was having a conversation yesterday with, we were talking about people we know that have retired after they worked for a company for 30 years or 40 years. And they have plenty of money, and they vacation and they're out there doing things. And he asked me if I ever regretted not doing that. And I said, you know what? No, I liked all the jobs I had. I liked learning all these different things. I liked getting promoted. Um, I would not trade my life for anything. I would never have wanted to work for a company for 40 years doing the same thing all the time. And then all of a sudden retire and not have anything to do but play golf or go to the beach. Well, I'd like to go to the beach more. But my point is that I don't have a lot of regrets, or any regrets about my professional career. I've learned a lot. I've met so many wonderful people. I'm still meeting wonderful people and learning from them. And I have a specific goal, and I think it's my calling to get out there and do things like public speaking or my ground truth audit, where I go to companies and help them, create a better culture. This podcast is one of the most wonderful things I ever started. And thank God my daughter Samantha encouraged me to do this. And I think about the podcast like this. Even if I don't get 10 million views on an episode, or I'm not the number one podcaster in the world, think about this. When I grew up, I knew my grandparents very little, right? I hardly spent time with them. And when we did, it was fun, and I loved them and I wanted to learn more about them. And they passed away, mostly pretty young. And I miss that because I don't know a lot of stories about my dad and my mom. And I never met my mom's dad because he died when she was 10 years old. But think about the legacy that I've created through this podcast, where my grandkids will be able to come to YouTube forever, pretty much in their lifetime, and learn about me, maybe more than they want to learn about me. But they're going to be able to look at the podcast and find out about my jobs, about my life, about failures that I had that I overcame, about the experiences I had raising their parents. And I just think it's the greatest. When you think about it that way, it doesn't matter if I get 10 views. It's the fact that they can come back and meet their grandfather at some point when I go to the other side, and they'll have this library of podcast episodes and clips that they can look for. I have over 1,000 uh, videos on YouTube at this point, and by the time I'm done, I'll probably have over 10,000. So look at that resource they can go back to and look at. So let's get back to what you guys are doing, what you're thinking about. When I look at my notes over here, it's insanely important to surround yourself with good people that are encouraging you, and you're encouraging them, right? Now, I don't know what your circle of friends looks like, but if it's not people encouraging you or everything, you need new friends. You don't need to get rid of old friends. You just need to, when you're having these conversations, you need to be in a situation where you decide whatever you want to do, whatever that goal is, whatever that desire is to get out there and get out into the world and contribute to society and do all those things. You need to be around the right people to encourage you to do that. Too many times on LinkedIn or Facebook or things like that, even when you're networking out into a group, people are trying to sell you something. I know that I'm starting a new job on Monday, and I know that a lot of the networking that I'm going to do, who I'm talking to, are other salespeople that are trying to sell me their services or whatever. But if you look at it this way, if you go into that situation, maybe a networking group or something, your job is really to think about 10 people deep that you know that could help that person you're talking to, and they'll reciprocate if you keep doing that. That's encouraging for a salesperson or whatever you're trying to do with your life. You could be really good at cooking something, or my wife does crocheting. I'm encouraging her all the time to do a YouTube video channel about crocheting. She doesn't. You don't have to show your face. You could just show your hands doing the crocheting, and I think she'd enjoy that, and I think it would help out a lot of people, and I think she'd have a lot of followers. To be honest with you, there's so many resources out there for you, that you could use to encourage other people or teach people what you know, and there's a lot of resources out there for you to learn about things. It doesn't always have to be reading a book. It could be watching a short video. It could be watching, a channel that inspires you, or, I'm on YouTube a lot listening to speakers because I want to be a better speaker. And I've read 2 books about speaking in the last couple of weeks. And I'm getting a lot of good tips. I'm getting a lot of good encouraging things. When I listen to these speakers, they're talking about encouragement all the time. And I'll tell you what the channel I listen to is called Motiversity. Motiversity. Look it up. It's motivating university, basically. And yes, it's just speakers, kind of a lot of the same speakers, but there's probably 100 different people just encouraging you and talking about how you have the bandwidth to do this. If you have decided that if you really want to do something, or you've dreamed about doing something all your life, it's very possible to do it. We've never had more opportunities than we do today with social media and YouTube and all these different ways we can make videos or watch videos. Like I said, I know I'm kind of rambling, and I don't get angry, and I shouldn't care, but I really do care about you, and I really do care about your happiness. And I think it would add a real value to your life if you chase some of those dreams that you're after. You're not too old. I guarantee you. You're never going to be too old to chase, something like that. And those dreams may change. Those groups you want to get involved with may change. I know there's a lot of animal activists out there. They're always looking for volunteers at the Humane Society and different places like that. And that last job I did with those kids, I learned a lot about different groups, about maybe recovery groups that you could get involved in and tell your story if that's your thing. Or, if you're a parent of an addict, you can, offer a lot of insight for different things. And it would heal you too. You could be healed through um, that community that community. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. For instance, the Knights of Columbus, I'm not as involved as I used to be when I was. There was so activism is the word I was looking for. We were very big activists for people in the community that were needing, money or food or things like that. I can tell you, if you go out and volunteer to do something, you're going to get more satisfaction out of it than the people you're serving. I guarantee you. When I was feeding lunch to the seniors at the Poway Senior Center, I left there on cloud nine every day after helping these people out and spending time with them and hearing their conversations and getting to know them. I was really pleasurable, and I wish I could do it more. And I going to try to figure out a way to get back there so I can go at least once a week and see all these people. Um, Let me look at my notes because I know I'm just rambling on, and I've talked about this stuff before. Um, I don't have any notes for it. A little bit. Um, Again, it's you need to get into these groups that will help you or watch podcasts or do whatever that will encourage you to follow that dream. I know every one of you has something that you've wanted to do in your life. I told you a story before about a guy I worked with when I was in the HVAC business that had his teaching credentials, and I said, what are you selling HVAC products for? He says, I just couldn't afford to be a teacher back in the day. So I had to do something that I made money. And he always regretted never being a teacher with this credential that he went to San Diego State and acquired. And I have other friends that play instruments. I get mad at myself sometimes because when I was meeting some people in the last 2 months, and I said, I always wished I could play the piano. Well, I can learn how to play the piano. It's not that yes, I don't know how now, but there's tutorials online. There's a lot of ways I could do it where I could try to learn how to play an instrument. It's just something I don't have the bandwidth to do right now, but it's not off the table in my life for me to at least learn a little bit about playing the piano or another instrument. I swear, I know you guys have desires. You have things you want to do. And you're probably, if you looked at your week, you're probably doing a lot of things that aren't moving you towards that goal or towards any goal. And a lot of it just has to do with discipline. That's the word. It's not motivation. Motivation is an emotion. It comes and goes. You can be motivated at 5 and listen, I went to the gym this morning at 5 a.m. I did not want to go. My body's very sore. Um, but I know that discipline is going to move me forward every time I'm able to accomplish one of those things. And this latest goal that I set, which I said I'll talk about in about 4 weeks, is something that's moving me forward, and it's helping in a lot of different aspects of my life. And it's all about discipline. It's all about committing to something and starting off small, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, an hour a week, whatever you guys decide that you want to do to help move your life forward. You need to do it. You need to just say, fuck it and go do it. Right. Because I know I'll keep saying it until I'm beating a dead horse. I know that there's things you want to do, and you maybe just don't know how to get started. Look, I use AI all the time. And a lot of you listening, because you're in my age group, don't want anything to do with AI. But I can tell you this. If you just go on the free thing of Chat GPT or something and put in a question like, what would be the best way for me? Let's just say it's learning the piano. What would be the best course for me to start learning how to play the piano? Or ask a question, put as many details as you can in there, and it'll give you a little bit of a plan. Now, it's not a derogatory thing. It's just you're trying to find out where to start. That's a good place to start. Ask the question. Contact me. Send me an email. I'll help you do it. I'll help you get started. I'll go on AI and find out what it needs to go, and I'll send it to you. Just send me an email, and I'll be glad to answer your email or DM me on one of my social media things. I'm about ready to close up this podcast, and I know that it was just a lot of the rhetoric that I'm always spewing out to you, but I really care about everybody that listens to this podcast, and I really want you to enjoy or benefit from following one of those dreams you have, or doing something in your life that you aspire to do. It's not over. Your life is not over. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. You can start anything when you want. And like I said, you don't have to quit your job. If you want to start a little business, it's virtually free to start a little business. You can do drop shipping. You can sell items on eBay. You can sell items on Facebook. You can do a lot of different things if you're looking to make some extra money, or if it's something you've just always wanted to get involved with. Your life is not over. You got a lot of years left, a lot of months, a lot of days. And I just really want you to take a leap. I want you to just take a small leap and see and investigate, something that you may want to do. I guarantee it'll add to your life. It'll add joy to your life if you're doing something you really want. And the other part of it is you may get into it and find out it's too much work. I don't know. But the thing is, if you're not doing anything about it, I can tell you what the answer is going to be, and the answer is going to be no. You need to start turning your life into answers that are yes. And like I said, if you need extra money, if you need whatever it is, there's a thousand million ways out there to make a little extra cash, to add joy to your life. You just got to get out from away from that TV, pick up a book, do some reading. Reading is really a lost art anymore, and I do it on my Kindle. I do it on my laptop. I do it with a hardcover book. But get out there and get educated and learn something. Maybe there's something you want to learn that you always wanted to know more about. There's so many resources out there for you to learn about different things. And I just encouraging you that if you've ever decided or ever wanted to do something like that, take the leap. Just do it. Don't wait any longer. Don't say you're going to do it on Monday. Do it today or tomorrow. Don't even say tomorrow. Do it today. Take 2 minutes today and just research something that you think you might want to do. Look, I told you could email me, and you can email me at edfranklin.nolimits@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, www.edfranklinnolimits.com, and contact me either way. And if you have some desire to do something out there, I'd be glad to help you and put in a couple minutes or some time to help you find a direction, right? All you really need is some direction. We've been told our whole lives we should just go to work, come home, eat dinner, go to bed, go to work, come home, eat dinner, go to bed. There's some special time in there that you can, dedicate to something that's going to help you gain some joy from this. So again, I know this podcast wasn't the best information podcast. It's just really about putting my arms around you and telling you that you can succeed. Listen, if you guys have any guests or you'd like to be a guest in my podcast, please hit me up on one of those places I just told you about, and maybe we can put something together. You may know a guest that would be really good on my podcast. I'd love to talk to them and see if we can add some value to other people's lives through that person's knowledge and what they're experiencing. If they're writing a book or whatever they're doing. I really appreciate you listening in. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Have a great weekend. Get your brain moving, man. Get your emotions moving, and feed that brain with some education. It will not hurt you. You may learn what you want to do, and you may learn what you don't want to do, but at least you'll know then. So I appreciate you listening. This is the Ed Franklin No Limits podcast. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to all of you very soon.